it's been a great battle, and the guy leading it is joining us right now. Please welcome Johnny Benson to Trackside Live.
Where you got to go?
You pick the way you want to go, big guy.
I was going to go around the back, but it looked pretty dangerous.
It's very dangerous, especially as wet as everything is.
Absolutely.
Welcome, my friend. Congratulations last week on Martinsville.
Thank you.
Leading the points. I mean, looking good.
Well, it's looking okay. I was good a couple of weeks ago with a 119-point lead. Now it's not enough.
Not enough?
Not enough.
Well, Larry just got through saying you think it's going to go all the way down to the final race there at Homestead.
It'll come to the final lap.
I mean, we've seen the last
3 or 4 years, it's been the final lap, not even to the last race. So we're excited about it. Trip Bruce and the guys, I mean, week in and week out, do a great job for us. And we're just looking forward to going down there and making a points battle out of it. Ron has been great to race with.
A little concern there. There's no letters on that red paint. Sponsorless at Martinsville last week.
Well, people thought we lost a sponsor. We didn't. We never had sponsorship.
Right.
For this
You're
race.
still looking for a full-time sponsor.
The last 2 years, we've had enough sponsorship for 20 races, and Martinsville happened to be one of them that we didn't get a sponsorship for.
Well,
so I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, we just didn't have.
Bottom line, you need a sponsor, a full-time sponsor for that truck.
Well, mentioning that right there about sponsorship, you know, Craftsman Trucks, I mean, Craftsman is going to be going away next year as far as the truck series is concerned, but now it's been announced that, you know, Camping World is coming on, and was reading some of your comments about that. Pretty excited about at least that little change right there. Should be an improvement.
Well, it's going to be pretty cool. You know, we really got to give, you know, Craftsman the applause for coming on, because when they came on, that was a chance for them, because nobody knew this was going to go 10 years. I mean, everybody was hoping that it did. Right. And so they're the ones that took the chance. I think with Camping World coming on, they know we're going to be here. And I think it's a great opportunity for them. But it's been a pleasure to work with, you know, Craftsman over the last couple of years that I've been here. And, of course, at the very start of it, I ran some races. And then and now with Camping World coming on, I mean, that's just great. I think they're going to get great value because the truck races are so cool.
Johnny, you've had so much success at all three of NASCAR's premier levels. You know, a championship in what was then the Busch Series, you know, a win in the Cup Series, and now there's one of your championship seasons in the Busch Series back then, which is now nationwide, and the Cup win at Rockingham in 2002, and now winning races consistently and running up front. Do you have any particular highlights? I know racers always think about the race in front of them, but what stands out for you as a big thrill?
I mean, they all are. I mean, winning that race there at Rockingham was way cool. I mean, I run 11th in the points, 12th, 13th in the points. I mean, I've always been right just outside the top 10. And, of course, I probably won't get that opportunity to go try to get in the top 10 now. But the truck series has been great. You know, Bill Davis gives us a good opportunity to come and race along with Toyota. And to win, you know, the 1 year we won 5, we won 4 last year. We've already got 5 this year. It's just a lot of fun. And there's a lot of great racing. It's like Saturday night racing where you're doing, you know, short races, you know, the bumping and banging. I mean, myself and Ron, we've had such great races. But even last week, running, you know, both of us still running for a championship to the point where, you know, you still trade a little paint. I mean, I think that's what the truck series likes to see. I think the fans like to see that. But you always see a great race. And it's been a pleasure to be able to run in a truck series for sure.
And you know what I find interesting about this championship battle between you and Ron is you and Ron are pretty close friends. Your wives are pretty close friends. And what even makes it more unique is 2 years ago when you finished second in the points, the crew chief that's trying to win him a championship this year was your crew chief 2 years ago, Rick Wren.
Well, but they won it last year.
You pass it around a little bit.
Sure, right? Another one. I would obviously like to get it for one, Bill Davis. I mean, he's been so close at this deal. You know, 2 years ago, you know, like I said, myself and Rick, we're trying to get Todd Bodine for the championship. We fell short with that. Last year, Mike had his opportunities to try to get it, and then it fell short with that. And then hopefully this year we can get that for Bill and Gail, because they really deserve a championship. And it would be cool for myself. I've won 3 other championships, so to add another one would be cool.
We'll have more with Johnny Benson. He has a 65-point lead over Ron Hornaday Jr. as the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series heads to a championship weekend in Homestead, Miami. Back to Atlanta after this. am back here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway with Johnny Benson, as we said, leading the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series point standings.
Johnny, what I found interesting looking at your early part of your career was your dad, John Sr. He actually retired from driving in the early 80s, and he actually ran one Cup event, I think, at Michigan in 1973, and had some offers to go racing in the big leagues and pretty much declined. But when he retired, that's what somewhat opened the door for you, and then you just picked up his number. It was the number 21, and that's what you started racing with.
Yeah, I mean, he raced for obviously many years. He's won the Oswego Classic and the Super Modified. He's won 7 championships at our home track. He ran that race at Michigan with the Cup Series and was actually running rather well, but the throttle linkage fell off it, and he had to come in there and fix it, and I think he still finished like 21st or something like that. And then he decided not to race anymore, and we were building chassis and components there at the shop, and at that point in time I was like, well, who's going to race for the company? So I built a car and went and did it. But I started way too late, is basically. I was 19 years old before I even started racing, so it's
you were an old man by then, right?
By today's standard.
For today's standard, I was way too old. I was 30-some years old when I came down here, so I started way too late.
Well, you mentioned, Berlin. How about the Berlin Raceway Hall of Fame? Again, your dad's involved in that. How special is Berlin to you?
Well, it is. I own a really small spot over in Turn 1 at the moment, and it's just, it's neat to be able to, work there and race with my dad for many, many years. And then I raced there 4 years as a weekly deal and won a championship there in a lot of races, and still go back and race there today. Still build own cars, go up there and go up and race. Like a lot of short tracks around the country, and of course all these the NASCAR ones, they got great fans up there, and I think that it's always important to go back to your home track and do a little bit of racing.
Johnny, Jeff was talking about Berlin up there in Michigan, where you're from, and you essentially were a short track racer. I know you raced ASA and around the Midwest. How did you make the transition? You talked about starting late, as Jeff said, by today's standards, but how did you make the trip down south, as everybody likes to use the expression?
Well, there's hundreds of thousands of great racers, and I was just in the right place at the right time. After I won my championship in the late model stuff, I went to ASA, and of course I had a lot of TV coverage, which is a huge plus. And then I got an opportunity to run Ernie Irvin's car at Michigan International for the Busch Series, and I came down and did that. And then Bill Baumgartner hired me, and I ran the 2 years there, and was fortunate enough to win the championship with them. And it was actually kind of funny with Bill, because after I met him, I ran a couple races. He hired me, and he finally asked how old I was. He goes, "Man, if I'd have known you were that old, I'd have never hired you." I mean, so it was happening back then. But it was always a pretty interesting deal. So I was just probably at the right place at the right time, because there is a lot of talented race car drivers out there that may never get the opportunity.
Johnny, this championship, the battle with Ron, it's obviously about these next 4 races, but if you guys can just get the mojo back, and of course the win at Martinsville was big.
That was big.
That you had in that 3-month span from early June to early September, 10 races. You actually had 4 wins and 9 finishes or 4th or better. I think that'll pretty much, if you can wrap your arms around something like that for these next 4, it'll be pretty close.
It's going to be fun. No matter how you look at it, it's going to be fun, no matter what happens at the end. But like I say, Trip Bruce and the guys, week in and week out, give us great race trucks. And, Vegas, we're leading it and had a problem. And those are things that happen. I've had 2 DNFs, which hurts us in the points. I mean, really, you look at the average finish that myself and Ron have had this year, wouldn't even put you in the top 5 in points of 2 prior seasons, which is pretty amazing. So a lot of people have had a lot of bad luck. But in the same token, we both won 5 races, both got the same amount of top 5s, same amount of top 10s.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty amazing. He's led a lot more laps, but I really care about winning a race, so I don't worry about the rest of it.
DW always says you only have to lead 1 lap.
That's it, the last one.
Yeah, I did that at Nashville. I got 2 guitars, and I've only led 4 laps there.
That's a good ratio.
It was great.
Knows how to do it.
Thanks a lot for being with us, Johnny.
All right, thanks, guys.
Best of luck in the championship.